Now is the 95th year since the Serum Run and the Iditarod anniversary. 2020 also marks the 25th birthday of a relevant film I hold so dear. I recall a nostalgic experience of the late 90s before transitioning into the new millennium, a time when DVD was beyond my budget as well as its superior quality. In my singular digits, I was limited to the unreliable format of VHS, a medium I will forever love for its content, but not its quality. Whether in plastic casings, corrugate, or cushion PVC, such as what Disney used for their Masterpiece collection, I judged the multiple panoramic covers as if they were books. One falsely judged box art is now a full-size poster sporting in my Fox den. It never caught my interest for a week's rental, but what did convince me is the epitome of a 90s trailer. Only then did I retrieve the dust-gathering tape from an eyesore of a shelf, but after my single first viewing, a spark began. Investing in each of the characters, top-notch animation, and expertly composed score. This building charge affected my psyche far more than any film of 1995, including Toy Story. The film stays so prevalently strong in mind, especially when none of my peers ever brought it up, despite never being able to shut up about Pixar's first ever movie. Those among you already know from my previous two videos, link in the description, that I favor the film released 25 years ago today. But I desire this to be a different look at historical fiction. How am I to approach from a new angle and conclude with a varied impression? Why not look at quality over quantity? Why is Balto not recognized by the English Oxford Dictionary 100 years later? This may come as an irrelevant surprise, but allow me to accommodatingly elaborate. I did not get into Pokemon until Hoenn brought the third generation. Did not even enjoy Star Wars till the Millennium term, despite Empire Strikes Back being my first ever theatrical experience. With these two facts, do you think I got into the X-Men 90s cartoon or Nickelodeon's A Rising lineup? Of course not. What I did get into were the mediums no other kids were talking about. I fell in love with Digimon, among the greatest of anime. Bionicle drew me in with a focused story, rich in characters and complex lore. The demographic-defined Gargoyles has me in knees and tears. To summarize, the mainstream never grabbed my attention as my instinctive side naturally drew to the obscure, the rare, the content below the populace. I still do not know why my mind works this way, but it is the reason Balto empowered my screen on a dying medium, in reference to both VHS and 2D animated films. Online commentary and viewership make me grateful not to be alone in love for the final outing of Amblin Animation. So, just how will I delve deeper into the movie on its 25th birthday? By doing exactly what Universal should have leading up to December 1995. Advertising the film by highlighting its conflict, characters, their struggle, and the moments of both superb voice acting and fluent animation. It is now time to make a trailer as it was intended. From the studio who retroacted the past to the Centennial Rodentia migration comes a century-defining journey of dog and man. In the last frontier, children are stricken in a pandemic outbreak, with death lingering far closer than any hope. Air and rail submit to Alaskan winter, where only paw and sled can mush. He is an outcast with a lineage to the domestic and the wild, shunned, rejected by even the most desperate. But the town needs an impossible solution. To save those who do not want him, he must take the strife of the outback and discrimination of each of the victims. Jim Cummings and Kevin Bacon face off in a battle for identity and life. But the true enemy are the helpless, fighting their own battle. Can a savior they did not ask for rise up in combat where they have lost? Take part in the iconic Iditarod. Witness the birth of a legend transcending generations. The race against time can only be achieved by abandoning all urban knowledge and delving into the terrain for no man or dog, but maybe a wolf. There is true rarity of triumph brought from animation in the heroic climax Balto brings on paw and skid. It proves memorable decades later without fade of frame or tune. Anytime I bring up a favorite composer, every one of my peers needs a notable reference. Balto is comparable, as it requires notoriety when in each conversation. In condense, I find many do not know James Horner or his films. This film he composed. Yes, he scored Balto, but he also scored these. If you are not aware, Mr. Horner did pass in 2016, but his contributions to film are prevalent in superb quality. As I mourn him, I also mourn the ignorance Balto received from the doubt Universal had in the entire beginning. There is so much talent behind this forgotten film that it transcends its status from historical fiction. The original poster and even the current box art are only plain from the lack of advertisement and a grade school footnote about a husky who brought an anti-serum to kids in remote Alaska. But I'm here to put my paw down. I want this video to play out what this film should have received leading up to December. I joined the triumphant howls for the abandoned swan song of Amblimation. 25 years on its release, I pray I'm not here alone celebrating its birthday. Truly, the humble animation sparked an attention, one leading into adulthood. It holds a cherishing nostalgia I wish more could relate to. Perhaps its accessibility can make a lasting impression in the childhood of the youth now. I give my own niece alternatives to cheap, minimal effort animation. Balto is a perfect piece of art I want her exposed to. So, imprinting the film in her mind can prove effective as it did on first debut. This here is the lasting impression, one affecting my artistic skill in anthropomorphic style. At this point, I believe Balto will strike the lasting impression for those just discovering it. Here's to hoping this video will heighten its attention and gain a new following, comparable to the cult fan bases like Iron Giant, and even my most favorite series, Gargoyles. In honor of the glorious finale of Amblimation and fans I hope to bring aboard, this video is to your dedication. Thank you for your views in this Quarticentennial celebration. Please aid in the howls of Balto by sharing, liking, and subscribing. Follow our Star Fox Comics Facebook page and Rokulai right here on YouTube. Merry Christmas and stay warm and safe.
In the time before time, on the mysterious island of Matanui, 6 canisters washed ashore on a golden beach.